Hey cuties, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is like a part 2 to my previous video. So in my previous video I tested the Rachel Leary Ultimate Goddess palette, and in today's video I thought that I would test out the Goddess on the Go palette. I really want to keep this intro short and just jump straight into the video, so that's what I'm gonna do. So this is the Goddess on the Go palette. It's got some really pretty shades in it, 9 eyeshadows and 4 face pans. So let's jump straight into this look. I'm going to take the transition shade Peach Please. This is Peach Please. There is some kickback in the pan, but that doesn't bother me at all. Wow, she pigmented. Wow. So that shade for me is like a super pretty, almost burnt orange shade, which is stunning. I'm really liking that shade. It's really pigmented too, to be honest. That is super, super pretty. So that is Peach Please. I am just gonna dip back in and just take that a little bit higher up. Tap off the excess because this is pigmented. I am a little bit concerned that this look is going to be very similar to the look I did previous, because I didn't realize that the colours that I did in the previous look are very similar to the colours that are in the eyeshadow pans in here. And obviously I have a lot less colours to work with in this palette, but I'm going to try my best to try and switch it up a little bit. So that is a super pretty shade. I'm loving that. I'm just going to quickly go off camera and do the same to this eye. So I'm going to go in straight away with Red Velvet. This is Red Velvet, and I'm just going to take that on a super fluffy Real Techniques brush. This is a base shadow brush. Again, there is kickback in the pan. Oh my god. So that was one tap in the pan. That is pigmented. And that is a really, really, really pretty colour too. Just gonna blend those two into each other. Again, with this palette, I do feel like the eyeshadows blend into each other effortlessly. Like, you really don't have to work hard with them, which for a lazy person like me is brilliant. I would much sooner use eyeshadows where it takes me 5 minutes to slap them on, do a little bit of the window wiper movement and have it blended seamlessly, than put an eyeshadow on and have to sit there for 15 minutes blending it in and have to really, really work hard, and by the end of it your arm just feels like it's about to drop off. So that is Red Velvet. I am actually really happy with that already. I don't feel like I really want to build it up anymore, because I am going to go in with the shade Sweet Light, which is the dark brown in the palette. I don't feel like there's much I can say about that shade. It is just super, super pretty, and it was so easy to blend in to Peach Please. One thing that I love about her palette is that all of the shades definitely work well together. Just going to quickly go back in with my previous brush just to diffuse out the edges and make sure we have no harsh lines, which that literally just took seconds. I'm just again going to quickly jump off camera and do this eye. So that is both eyes with Red Velvet on. Super easy again. Both shades just blended into each other so effortlessly. Again, one thing I can say about these palettes is that the shades just work so well together that it's so easy to just chuck a few colours on and go. I'm trying to be quick with this palette as it is called Goddess on the Go, and I want to see how easy it is to just chuck a few colours on and go, hence the name of the palette. So now on a Zoeva Luxie Petite Crease brush, I'm just going to take the shade Sweet Like. So this is Sweet Like, which is like a super dark brown. And again, that is kickback in the pan, but can you see how pigmented that is? And I just want to deepen up this outer corner. I really hope that this is picking up on camera, but that is so pigmented. I sometimes feel like the camera doesn't do eyeshadows justice, because that is honestly beautiful and so pigmented. And one thing I can say about that brown shade is it's not patchy or muddy, which there's nothing worse than having a patchy, muddy looking eyeshadow. So with no extra product, I'm just going to go in with our previous brush with Red Velvet on, and I'm just going to bring back in some of that colour with the remainder on the brush, and also diffuse out some of that Sweet Like shade. Do you know, thinking about it, I honestly thought that the Ultimate Goddess palette was going to be my favourite. I do believe I did say that in the previous video, but I honestly feel like this one will be a really good go-to palette for me because it has my go-to eyeshadow shades in here. But we shall have to see how the bigger face pans work for me. So that is what the eyeshadow is looking like. I am super happy with that. Just going in with our initial transition colour, I am going to put a little bit more on the brush just because I do feel like we have lost it a little bit with these darker eyeshadows. Because that shade is super pretty and I would not want to lose it. So now I'm just going to repeat what I did on this side to this eye. So this is what the eyes are looking like with the shade Sweet Like on them. One thing I will say is next time if I do use the shade Sweet Like, I will just try and go in with a little bit less on my brush just to make my life easier because I'm super lazy when it comes to eyeshadow. I did just have to work a little bit just to blend it out and make sure there wasn't a harsh line because it is quite a dark shade. So next time I will just use a tiny bit less on my brush just to make my life easier. But the actual eyeshadow itself is really pretty and easy to use. I'm just super lazy. So that is all I'm actually going to do on my eyes in regards to matte. Now we are going to move on to a shimmer. I was going to take Goddess just to really brighten up the eye, but I really feel like the shade Chichi would look beautiful. So I am just going to take the shade Chichi. So this is the shade Chichi. Oh my, that shimmer is stunning. I am applying this with a wet brush as that is how I apply all shimmers. I just feel like they definitely apply better with a wet brush. I am going to just do another coat just to see if the eyeshadow goes chunky. I really hope it doesn't because this shade is beautiful. Yeah, no, that's not chunky at all. That's just really intensified it. So that is looking super pretty. I am just going to go back in with the brush that has Sweet Like on it, and I am just going to diffuse that harsh line. So that is what we are currently dealing with eyeshadow wise. I really feel like that Chichi shimmer has brought back the Peach Please. I feel like those two complement each other beautifully. This is what the eyes are currently looking like. I am really happy with how the eyeshadows have worked together and how the look has turned out. I did just run a little bit of Peach Please under my under eyes, and I don't really have a bad word to say about the eyeshadows. I feel like the eyeshadows work really, really well. I've never really had any problems with Revolution's eyeshadows anyway, so I didn't really expect anything less. But the colours that Rachel has chose to put together definitely work really well together, and I feel like she has chose the perfect shades. She's made the eyeshadows where it doesn't matter how skilled you are at makeup, you definitely could use them. Obviously, if you're more advanced in makeup, you would be able to do more adventurous looks. However, if you're not very skilled in makeup and you have very like basic, new, beginner skills, you could just chuck on 1 or 2 shades. They will blend together easily anyway. They basically do the work for you, and you could make up a look that is absolutely beautiful. So I really am happy with the eyeshadows in this palette. I'm just going to quickly zoom you back out and we are going to move on to the face. So moving on to the face now, I'm going to jump in with the Bronzer Caramel Slice. So this is the bronzer. It looks quite dark and it seems like it could be quite red toned, which I am a little bit worried about because I am quite pale. So hopefully it's not too pigmented. I'm just going to apply that with a really big fluffy fan brush just to help sheer it out. Just going to tap in, not a lot at all. I'm definitely going to tap off the excess. Oh my god, you know what? Although it looks super, super dark in the pan, it's actually not very pigmented, which is brilliant because it's a really nice colour, because obviously it has the nice red undertone to it. It's just helping to make me look really bronzed. I do think that this brush is helping to sheer it out a lot more as well. I do feel like it is still a tad bit too dark for me. However, if I was the slightest bit more tanned, I do feel like that would actually look quite nice. Just going to take that on my forehead now. I really do like my forehead to look quite bronzed anyway. Just take the excess on the tip of my nose. I always do this just to add a little bit of colour to the midpoint of my face. Just take a little bit on my chin too and just along my jawline. Even though that this bronzer is a little bit dark for me, one thing I will say is it is not muddy or patchy in the slightest. It just is a tad too dark, which is a shame because it is a beautiful shade. But definitely when I do have tan on, I feel like this would match me very, very nicely. So now on a Real Techniques contour brush, I'm just going to take the blusher, which is Sun Kissed. So that's this one here. It's a super bright, shimmery pink blush. Now, I'm not a fan of bright pink blushes, so I'm only going to take a small amount, and I'm definitely going to tap off the excess. And I'm just going to apply that to the apples of my cheeks. Now, I feel like on camera that that's coming off super dark pink, but in real life and in the natural lighting, it's actually super subtly pink, and it does have a nice little shimmer to it. I actually quite like that blush, which surprised me because if I'm being completely honest, I actually didn't think I was going to because it looks so dark in the pan. But yeah, that's actually super pretty. I really, really like that. So now on the same brush, I'm going to go in with Golden Hour, which is the shimmery bronzer. This is Golden Hour. I do feel like this might be a little bit too dark for me, but I just love a shimmery bronzer, so I'm going to try it anyway. Have a super, super light hand. That is beautiful. I do feel like it is the tiniest bit too dark. However, it does go with that bronzer beautifully. So if I was more tanned, I feel like that would look absolutely flawless. It just makes your skin look super, super healthy and glowy. It just looks sun-kissed, you know? It looks beautiful. I do think it is the tiniest bit too dark for my personal preference. However, it is stunning. Now I'm just going to go in with the highlighter, and I love the name of this highlighter. This is the highlighter and it is called get it poppin'. So without further ado, let's get it poppin'. Wow, I really hope that the camera is picking that up. But that is really, really beautiful. Like, are you kidding me? Oh my god. Highlighter is my favourite part to any makeup routine. And when your highlighter just pops like that, I mean, I'm a bit speechless. Girl, you did good with this highlighter. So now I'm just going to take that highlighter shade and highlight my brow bone and my cupid's bow. Oh my god, that highlighter is just something else. Now just for inner corner highlight, I do wish there was a slightly more of a pale inner corner highlight shade in here, but I'm gonna take the shade Coconut Latte, which is, it looks like a super pretty pale pink off-white champagne colour. I literally just described it with like 3-4 different colours. So this is Coconut Latte, and I'm just going to take that on my inner corner. That's super pretty actually. It is a lot more blinding than I thought it was going to be. Oh, maybe I actually spoke too soon. That's actually really nice. It actually looks like the perfect inner corner highlight, to be honest. That's actually beautiful. Don't judge a book by its cover. That's actually stunning. The perfect inner corner highlight. So that's everything for the palette. I'm just going to quickly jump off camera. So this is the finished look, guys. I'm really happy with the end result. And it was really fun to use the Goddess on the Go palette. It definitely is a palette that you could just chuck in your bag, quickly just whack your makeup on if you're in a rush, like say you're in the back of a taxi or something on the way to work. The eyeshadows were so easy to use. They genuinely did most of the work for me. I genuinely didn't really do anything. I was literally just doing a couple swipes and then I'm done. Like, it's that easy. Which, if you want a Goddess on the Go palette, that is kind of what you would want and expect. The face pans, so the bronzer I actually really like, and if I do use a light hand, I do think I would get away with it. I really like the red undertone to it, surprisingly, because I normally don't actually like that because it makes me look too muddy. It just doesn't normally work for me. However, for whatever reason, it genuinely did work. It might have been the brush that I used, but whatever it was, the actual shade itself was stunning. And definitely, if you have a deeper skin tone than mine, it definitely will work wonders for you. The shimmery bronzer I absolutely love. I just feel like it makes you look really nice and healthy and glowy. And because I have to powder my face, I often lose the dewiness of any foundation that I use. So to be able to add just a little bit of like fake dewiness to my skin is just amazing. The highlighter is just, well, it just speaks for itself, doesn't it? I feel like the name is perfect for it. Get it poppin', because that highlighter be poppin'. And the blusher, although it looks super bright pink, it's actually quite subtle and just gives you like a super subtle flash of colour to your cheeks. It might be coming up a little bit darker in the camera, but under natural lighting it's actually stunning. So I'm really happy with the palette and the way that this look turned out. So well done, Rach. You genuinely did a fantastic job on both palettes. Absolutely love them both. Definitely going to be using both of them very often. So congratulations, Rachel. You have come out with an absolute showstopper. So that is everything for today, guys. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making it. It was a lot of fun to use the Goddess on the Go palette, and I'm genuinely really happy with how the look turned out. If you did enjoy this video, please don't forget to hit the like button, and if you would like to see more of me, then please subscribe. If you haven't done so already, make sure you go and pick up one of Rachel's palettes, if not both. You can get them on ASOS, I believe, Beauty Bay, Superdrug and Revolution. Go and support our girl Rach, because she's killing the game right now. I really do hope that you guys have enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next one.
We gon' be alright, we gon' be okay. We gon' be alright, we gon' be okay. We gon' be alright, we gon' be okay. We gon' be alright. Must have been 211 when the world ended. At least it felt like it at the time.